Do you want to rock? I want to rock. Let's all rock together. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And tonight, from the former hair metal band from Long Island, New York, or thereabouts, Twisted Sister, comes the singer of said band and his latest solo album, For the Love of Metal, as produced by Jamey Jasta of Hatebreed, because it's hashtag time to murder it. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be reviewing Dee Snider's For the Love of Metal. And of course, helping me do that is our second chair. He's not going to take it anymore. He's Robert Cooper, the Metal Coop. How do you do, sir?
I just obtained all of Fist of the North Star on Blu-ray. Why is that wonderful? He punches people. They explode. It's great.
It's about one of the only animes I remember even remotely liking when I was in high school, and every single one of my friends was all about anime.
And you know, that's funny, because like now nobody gives a fuck about Fist of the North Star, but I'm like, oh my god, it's so amazing. Like, it's kind of dumb, but hey, like, especially the TV version of it, they couldn't do blood, so instead it's white blood. I'm like, oh boy, they jizzed everywhere.
Has anyone ever told you should do a podcast where you review manga or anime?
No, I probably should at this point, shouldn't I? Considering I have a whole bookcase full of both.
Ladies and gentlemen, our third chair is the disapproving dad and the host of source material in his own right. You can find him at some point on the Unspoken Decade, and he helps out every once in a while on the Kapow podcast. Jesse Starcher, come out and play.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a jalopy of a headset going on right now. I got earbuds and one from one complete different cord, and the headset and mic are on my head. Headset earphones do not work. Microphone does. Thank you, 8-year-old son. I appreciate it 100%. So, yes.
I heard a tilapia, by the way.
Tilapia?
No, he's not messing with a tilapia. Okay, that's a fish. He's got a.
You're telling me it's not a very fishy setup?
Oh boy. That's just a pun.
No, Jesse, what did your son
I have no idea.
do exactly? Did he try to... Actually, I have a better question. Are you getting him a Fortnite tutor?
No, I am not. I saw that article, sir. What ridiculousness is that? My gosh.
Why... Can someone fill this old man in who's yelling at people to get off his lawn? What? I know Fortnite's a game. I know Fortnite's a popular game. But, like, is it a first-person shooter? Is it a sim? Is it Sims? What? Is it a Dance Dance Revolution? What exactly is a Fortnite, and why do you need a tutor?
I've heard it's like a third-person shooter, but, like, it's just fucking wild and crazy, and like everybody plays it. I don't know. Like, I've never actually seen it played ever. I just know of it.
Well, I can give you probably more information than you need to know about Fortnite. My son.
It takes a fortnight to tell us about it.
My son.
Go ahead.
I killed Bart.
My son plays an awful lot of it, to where we finally this summer have decided, okay, we need to limit the amount of playtime that he gets. We made the mistake in giving him a microphone, and
no, like, give it faggot.
8-year-old son going on and playing Fortnite with people. I have honestly wanted to sit and record him, because he would get mad and start screaming. He rages. So we finally said, okay.
Sounds like he needs a Twitch account.
We know. We said no more playing more than 2 hours of Fortnite. I think maybe an hour and a half of Fortnite. But yes, third-person shooter is very popular. I made the mistake of saying to my son, who was 8 years old, I said, about a month into him playing the game, I said, listen, I said, you ever win this game, you ever get first place in solo, I will get you 10,000 V-Bucks, which turns into, that's basically the online currency, which is actually $100. Okay? Now, I want you to understand this. My 8-year-old son is playing a game against 99 other people. Mm-hmm. So it's 100 people in this game shooting each other. And I was like, there's no way. And seriously, within 3 weeks, he came to me and showed me that he had gotten first place. And I have never wanted to just crawl under a rock and never come out. So
you know what hurts me about that story?
Tell me.
You know what hurts me? You have described yourself as notoriously cheap.
I'm apparently notoriously gullible as well.
I have tried to encourage you to spend money on certain things that I think would be beneficial to you and your family, or at least to me, which is more important. And you have said, no, sir, I will not do these things. I do not like green eggs and ham. I will not spend the money saying I am. And I said, okay, I get it. You know, listen, as somebody who is also on a limited income and really has to live on a budget and frequently doesn't and then cries that he's poorer than he should be, I get it. And I get that other people, you know, who live on limited budgets just manage their money better than us idiots in this house. I get that as well. You're willing to piss away $100 on your son's video game habit, though? That hurts me, Jesse. That hurts me deep.
Let me explain. Okay, I'll give you a great example to kind of put you. Let me just say fuck you and fuck Larry Zonka. Okay, not the Pittsburgh football player, wow, but the 411 guy, and I'll tell you why. You know how many times I've said you should take your families to Disney, and I've heard from both of you guys, we can't, we don't have no money, but you got VR bucks, don't you? God damn it! All right, now listen. Let me put you in the mindset that I was in when I uttered these words.
Were you drinking?
No. You gotta think about this. All right. Imagine we had Robert Cooper, and we were talking to Robert Cooper, and we said, "Coop, I'll give you $100 and a pack of condoms if you can find a woman within 3 weeks."
Fuck you! I could find one within fucking 3 days for $100 and a pack of condoms, you dick whistle.
Yeah, you might want to I think what he's trying to say is, okay, if in the next 30 days you can bang a fashion model, we'll give you $100 in a box of condoms.
Hey, I've been going out with a girl that's like 6'1".
Okay, because she could be a fucking Groot for all we know. I mean, doesn't necessarily mean she's a fashion model. I've seen some tall, fucking ugly bitches in my time. So take it easy over there. You were saying, Jesse.
Oh, well, no, I have a twin-size bed. I have a twin-size bed.
I don't want to bag on Cooper, but no, I seriously, I didn't. Dude, there was no way it was possible. In my mind, I was like, there's no way this kid.
Your mistake.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely you're wrong.
He's done it 4 times so far.
Here's the thing you don't understand about children playing shooters. The adults that play it don't have the expendable time. Like 8-year-olds, like they don't have they have all the fucking time in the world. Once they're done with their little bit of school and all that, they got all their life to play fucking Fortnite, and they've got all summer, so they're gonna win eventually, and they're gonna be annoying fuckwits about it.
This is why I've sold both my Wii U and my Xbox. I never had time to play either one. I got a Guitar Hero for the Apple TV. Okay, we're not even talking about a game system here, but there's a Guitar Hero app for Apple TV and a guitar that went with it. And I love Guitar Hero. It was Guitar Hero. And I love Guitar Hero. It was one of my favorite games.
Is it Guitar Hero 3?
Drink!
Take a drink. But we've talked loads of times on this show and others about, how I was obsessed with Guitar Hero for the longest time, like early on in my marriage to Melissa. Want to know how many times I've picked up the guitar? And played it. I don't have the time. I certainly don't have the time to be investing in fucking Fortnite and Shoot Your Mother and Fuck Me Silly and all these other games that are out there. but
I would not be getting that one for my son.
Hey Dad, have you heard this new game called Fuck Me Silly? Pardon?
Night Trap.
So I get what Coop is saying. It's like, if I actually played, I don't nearly have the time to play as somebody who all they have to do is go to school.
True. Very true. Very, very true. Now, how does this lead into what we're talking about tonight? Segue that shit.
Well, yeah, I can. It'll be a non sequitur, but it'll be a sequitur. All I asked you, how did we get here? All I asked you was, are you getting your son a Fortnite tutor? I didn't expect you to be like, let me tell you how my son conned $100 out of me.
Let me tell you a little something, brother.
You know what you need to do? You need to be like, well, buddy, I'm just going to let you know that just came out of Christmas. You could be a total dick about it.
Oh, dude. Trust me. I was like, he was on me. He was like, okay, Dad, you made the bet. And I'm like, okay, look, I don't have the money right now. And I was being strong-armed by my son. I was being strong-armed by the kid.
Was he wearing red overalls at that point? Did he fucking pull out a gun and just start pistol whipping you? Where's my money? Where's my money?
Where are my V-Bucks? Give me my V-Bucks!
That's, by the way, since I know you're not from this country and you don't know any of the references, that was Family Guy.
Oh, great. I could have probably, if you would have laid out at least what I could have put money on that was from, I would have said Family Guy for sure.
Okay.
What a reference, man.
So, just to move on from this, here's my sequitur. Here's my segue.
Okay.
I came home tonight. I woke up this morning, put on my Sunday shoes. Don't ask me why. That's just the nature of my grooves. No, come on, Jesse.
It's Wednesday, but hey. I know Clutch, Mark Radlich. I know that reference.
I should hope so.
Yes.
Anywho, so this morning, my wife is getting ready to get the kids out of the house because she's got to drop them off at my in-laws so that she can go to her training, right? You know, summer's over here in Florida, for the teachers at least. The kids go back, I think it's next week. Anyway, so they still have this last week of summer vacation, and they're spending it at my in-laws. So my wife had to get up like super early, and of course my son, the first thing in the morning, and I don't blame him because I'm like this too. Like it's not good morning, hello, how are you? Isn't it great to be alive? It's hello.
I grunt.
It's like, where's breakfast? Alice, where's the eats? So the first words out of his mouth are, like, good morning, Jonas. Muffins. That's it. That's all he says. Now, we've decided to not do muffins anymore. We're on cereal bars now. And he doesn't, he's not big into change, especially change he didn't vote for. So he's not, as much as he likes
America, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to teach him. As much as he likes cereal bars, he prefers muffins, and he demanded muffins, and so he asked for muffins, and he was denied muffins. So he threw a tantrum. And I'm like half asleep because I don't need to be up this fucking early. I still have a little bit of time before I have to get up and go to work. And my wife just kind of yells from the front door, "You see, this is what I have to put up with. This is what I'm talking about. He's throwing a tantrum because he can't have muffins." And I'm like, "Man, I talk to him when I get home." So true to my word, I'm going to talk to him when I get home. And the first thing I see is, of course, my daughter is in her room as she usually is. She's watching TV, and he's on the couch playing with my wife's iPad. And my first thought is, if he was a bag of dicks this morning, why is he on the iPad? But doesn't. But it's fine. She was cooking dinner, I'm sure, and it turns out this was true. She's like, he's on the iPad because she needed him to just not bother her, so she can get dinner cooked. Okay, terrific. So I say, hey, turn off the iPad. Come talk to me at the table. And he's like, all right, I'll just pause my show. No, turn it off, stupid. Okay? Turn it off. I want to talk to you. And I'm trying to talk to him about his behavior. And as I'm talking to him about just the incident this morning, she yells from the kitchen, and he wasn't very good for Nene today either. He was mean to Kieran, and so apparently he was a bag of dicks all day.
Oh.
And I said, okay, well, you know what, new plan. And he's like, kind of like blowing me off, like I'm trying to get his attention and trying to get him to focus, and he's just like, yeah, can I get back to my show now? And I'm like, nah, man, fuck you. So I get up and I grab the iPad and I'm like, we're done with this for the day. And of course,
meltdown.
And he throws another tantrum, and I'm just like, that's all right, go to your room. And I'm like, and you know what? Just to be sure we're all on the same page here, I grabbed the remotes to his TV and his Amazon Fire Stick. And I was like, these are mine now until you learn to respect your mother and and you're not mean to people all day long. I don't know how long it took him to finally calm down, but eventually he did. And and I told him, just like, you'll get these are privileges. You earn privileges with good behavior. If you're not going to exhibit good behavior, you ain't getting shit. You got plenty of toys. That's good enough. You don't need electronic devices. So,
man, oh man, I could promptly go on for another half hour about the same interactions that I've had with my own son. And trust me, I just understand absolutely where you're coming from.
So that's okay.
100%.
He got punished good after that, because then he had to watch Mamma Mia. Yep.
Right.
Yesterday I had Lily watch The Avengers, Infinity War. Today my wife said tonight's family movie is Mamma Mia, and I silently gritted my teeth. Mamma Mia. All right. Speaking of Mamma Mia, let's talk about Dee Snider. How do you like that segue?
That was quite the shit fest right there. Good job.
Hey, go fuck yourself. All right. Jesse Starcher, why don't you tell me who's in this band with E.L. Dee Snider? What'd you find?
Who's in the band then? All right. Well, let me tell you a little something. This album that we're going to be discussing tonight, just from what I've been doing, the research on here, or some of the sites that I've been looking at, it looks like a lot of the content that we're going to be listening to was actually written by a lot of outside influence. We're talking Jamey Jasta, who's the producer of this album, as you mentioned, Howard Jones, Mark Morton from Lamb of God, Alissa White-Gluz from Arch Enemy, which I know she shows up. We're going to hear from her. Not only did they perform, but I believe that a lot of the writing came from a lot of them as well. And my assumption is that they, whether they're vocalists or guitar players on this album, that's the only thing I can think of, because there is no site that you can find that will just say, hey, this is the band member. So normally there's a respected site that we go to called metalarchives.com. All right. Now we can look up Dee Snider and just take a look at the lineup here. And the lineup is Dee Snider on vocals. And that's it.
So once again, it's Dee Snider's and the Who Gives a Fuck players. Got it. My assumption is, well, the thing is like I said, this band deserves credit, and that's why we're trying to give it to them. So if it's somebody that is very popular, they're not listed. Or they're listed in that mishmash of, oh, hey, these are who we have appearing on the album. But, I mean, it's not like those names that I listed, I don't recall them. Is there a drummer in there? Joel Grind from Toxic Holocaust. Nick Bellmore.
You can play everything.
Okay. Charlie Bellmore from Kingdom of Sorrow. So it just says that this is the list of guest musicians and vocalists. So we either got a mishmash of all that. I can tell you that the sound sounds pretty consistent. We'll get into that. But, I mean, maybe that's the band. There's your band. At least those are your contributors anyway. Now, I want to real quick just shout out how this came about, because I found it pretty interesting. Apparently, Jamey and Dee were sitting down on Jamey's podcast, and Jamey threw out the idea, hey, how about I get a bunch of people to write some songs for you, you perform it, I'll produce the album. And Dee Snider's like, okay, let's do it. And here's the result. So this is something that, man, it's an interesting genesis for the album that we're going to get into, because, wow, we got something on tap for everybody.
Apparently, Dee Snider's been making the rounds, and because I mentioned it to my wife tonight, I was playing the album in the house, and she was like, "Yeah, Dee Snider's been around. Dee Snider's everywhere right now." And it's like, "Yeah, well, he's promoting an album," and she's like, "Is it any good?" And I said, it's like. And I said this before I knew that story about him on Jamey Jasta's podcast and him being dared. Basically, I said it's as if he was requested to create a modern metal album and sing on it, And this is the fruits of that. I mean, this is literally like if someone said, give me an example of modern metal, this would be it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an app, and that's not necessarily a criticism. I don't think it's soulless or anything, or certainly not talentless.
No,
but
it's not.
It is definitely an encapsulation of the modern metal sound. All right, we've been at this for about 20 minutes. We spent most of it talking about Fortnite, so let's get into let's get into our first track here. This is "Lies Are a Business." Lies Are a Business. I listened to this album over the weekend as I was tooling around town with my daughter. We had a little daddy-daughter date going on, and the first reaction I had to, especially this track, but really the whole album, was as much as I think Dee Snider has a distinctive vocal tone, and I've certainly loved it. Been a huge fan of Twisted Sister, and a big part of that was his vocal stylings. I got a Testament feel for this. You know what I mean? He is a little higher pitch than Chuck Billy, but the sound of the music just screamed, some of it at least, screamed Testament to me, especially this track. What do you think, Coop?
I could definitely hear that. I don't know if maybe it is just the heavier sound to it, but I feel like his voice really does lend itself to more of a thrashier sound, which surprised me because I did not expect that, in the slightest.
No, when I saw that Dee Snider was doing a solo album, I figured it was going to be more of the hair metal type style. I figured, I at the very least, I figured it would be more of a modern hard rock pop sound. And this, like I said, this is a modern metal sound, and his voice, man, I know everyone, again, associates him with Twisted Sister. For God's sakes, our Metal Hammer of Doom extras, two out of the three of them were Twisted Sister songs from the same album. But he's got some pipes on him, and he really carries this album, with the strength of, I think, his personality, I think, comes out, which is weird because, other people wrote all these songs, but I would imagine there was some collaboration there. Like, Dee, what's on your mind? Well, lies are a business. Yeah. Tomorrow's no concern. Frankly, I'm a hurricane, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, make it a song then.
Exactly. Jesse,
safe to say, frankly, I'm a hurricane.
Here comes the sound of the hurricane. All right, Jesse, what'd you think of Lies Are a Business?
Yeah, buddy. Well, this is interesting because, man, I honestly lost track of anything musically that Dee Snider has done since probably Stay Hungry. So this is like a band that I didn't really follow at all after they blew up and became the big popular, now I'm not even going to call them a one-hit wonder like fucking the Wikipedia did. It's just ridiculous. But regardless, I I'd never heard anything else from Dee Snider since then. I knew he was hosting his own radio show, and I think I listened to that a bunch of times when I was living up near Columbus because it was syndicated up there. I wish it was the House of Rock, I think is what it was called. But anyway, so that's pretty much what I knew Dee from, recently. Now, Mark Radlich, you send me a message and you say, this Dee Snider album, it's fantastic. It's great. And I'm like, okay, well, I won't expect that Mark's trying to oversell it, but I'm certainly
I don't have a habit of that or anything.
I'm not going to go into this expecting, something that's going to blow my socks off. Much like with Judas Priest, we jump into Judas Priest, and first song off the bat, I'm like, wow, really takes me by surprise. Same thing here. It's got a great heavy metal sound. It's a great fast-paced opener. I was digging it. Now, this did not seal the deal for me. That made me go, okay, this is some great, serious shit. Because I listened to this album first time today, and first song right off the bat, I was like, this is heavy. This is Dee Snider. This is probably going to be one of those outliers where it's like, okay, we're going to grab your attention here, and then Dee Snider's going to take a 63-year-old nap here in a few minutes, and we're going to be, I'm going to be let down. Well, let's just say first song's good. I'm digging it. Let's see what happens next.
All right. This you actually find us discussing this horrible video for Tomorrow's No Concern on the Metal Hammer of Doom Extras, but the song kicks a lot of ass. This is...
now, hold on.
Yes?
No, I was going to say, we did Become the Storm.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we didn't do Tomorrow's No Concern. Because if I would have heard this, yes, things would have been different. Okay. But go ahead.
I take that back. Tomorrow, Become the Storm is an awesome song with a shit video. More on that later.
Absolute shite.
This here is
Shit.
Tomorrow's...
Species.
Yeah. Damn it, soundboard.
Tomorrow's No Concern. Oh boy, that right there is some classic thrash metal. I heard a little bit of Anthrax in there, a little bit of Testament. I mean, that song kicks all kinds of ass. And I know Jesse's the lyric guy, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but I dig the vibe man. I dig the vibe of what Dee Snider's putting down. I'm picking it up. He's putting it down. I'm picking it up. I like the idea of, this idea of all right, here's all the stuff that happened in the past. You all can have it. I'm moving forward. I'm doing my thing. I love that.
Yeah. The notes that I made for this one, first off, I hit the second song on my first listen, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Because this is damn amazing. There's no fucking way that I'm listening to what I expected to listen to. It, at this point, has exceeded every bit of my expectations. We're only 2 songs in. And the bar was pretty low for me going in here, and this fucking thing sailed right over it. And this is about the time I messaged you and you guys, and I was like, okay, you might be onto something here. This is pretty good. And yeah, when we talk about it, Jamey Jasta and positive metal, like we talked when we did the Hatebreed review.
Because it's hashtag time to murder it.
That's right, damn it. That is evident throughout this whole album, and I'd say that this is probably one of the first songs that really has that positive message going for it, where he's just like, live for fucking today, live for yourself. There's a point in this song where the gallop hits, and it's obvious. You mentioned Testament. Isn't Testament known for having a little bit of a gallop? I know every once in a while they'll throw some gallop in there, and it's completely obvious in this song, and it's so good. And this is a song that had me going, okay, how in the hell have I not been paying attention to what this guy's done in the past? Now, here's the thing. I don't know what this album, again, take a drink, because this has become a fucking drinking part of the drinking game. I don't know much of what happened prior to this album with Dee Snider. So I don't know if any other album sounded like this. I don't know if Jamey Jasta had a hand in it. It doesn't sound like, just from what we talked about, the circumstances before this, it doesn't sound like that was the case. So, if this is anything compared to what's come previously, wow. But I'll tell you right now, Tomorrow's No Concern sold me on this album and had me excited to see what was going to be coming up. So, Coop?
I have to know if people are out there, like, listen to our podcast and hear, like, I don't know anything that happened before this. They're like, did these guys just get together one day and, like, I'm going to do a podcast. What do you know about metal? Absolutely nothing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of podcasting, where anybody who has a fucking mic can put anything out there. Yes, we're on Spotify, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
We did it big.
Yes, I want to take I pitch it to Coop. I just want to take a quick moment to welcome our Spotify listeners. If you're on Spotify and you're listening to this, welcome aboard. You're in for a bumpy ride. Speaking of bumpy, Coop, you want to tell us?
This is like a fucking Pennsylvania road.
Tomorrow's No Concern. Hit it, Darren.
Yeah, lost. I don't get that reference.
That's good. You shouldn't, because it's probably been heard maybe 4 times, at least throughout podcasts and people who have listened to the show.
Listen, at some point I want to go to like a podcast convention, and and we're going to need to sell some T-shirts. And one of those T-shirts is going to be a pink T-shirt with black lettering that says "Hit
It,
Darren."
It's rainbow. It's rainbow lettering. Me and the wife have already discussed this.
Oh,
it
okay.
says Hit it, Darren on the front in rainbow lettering.
Okay.
Pink shirt on the back, source material.
Perfect.
Except it's going to say "Hit Darren."
Hit Darren. Hit Darren. Hit it, Darren.
So I'm trying to get people familiar with the catchphrases now, so that when we have the T-shirts for sale, people will be like, "Oh, they say that on the thing."
See if they catch on.
Yeah. All right, hit it, Darren.
Hit it, Darren. Anywho, yes. So, when I found out this album was going to be reviewed by us, I was like, whatever. Like, I wasn't really all that excited. And then I heard the "Become the Storm" track off of Instagram, actually. And I was like, what? This Instagram.
Wait, on the what?
Instagram.
You're not saying it right.
It's because he doesn't listen to the show, Mark Radlish. It's the Instagram.
It's the Instagram.
Damn it, Mark. Stop forcing references upon people who don't know them.
Dude, I do this shit at work.
I could tell. I don't doubt it.
I make my wife do it. She was telling me something about Instagram, and I was just like, on the Insta what? She's like, Instagram. That is the sound of a defeated woman. Music to my ears.
I'll play along.
Anyway, so you were listening to Dee Snider on the Instagram?
Yes, on the Instagram. Is that better?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. But then as I listened to more and more of it, I'm like, holy shit, this album's pretty fucking legit. I mean, yeah, and this track here is, it's a really good one. It has a real thrashy vibe. Now that you have kind of uncovered that, hey, by the way, like, yeah, he didn't write this whole album. I'm like, oh, okay. This does seem to be in more of a traditional, like a standard sort of modern heavy metal sensibility, but I really like it. I think it's really well done.
Indeed, an ode to metal, if you will, for the love of metal. All right, let's move on. This is I Am the Hurricane.
Law.
Smell it when you say my name. You love to gamble, but you never win. You lost it all. The end begins. Your life and death are one in the same. There's nothing left but all your sins. The wind is screaming your name. It sounds like fear. Your death battle is all that remains. No one will shed a tear. Force of nature, destroy your great design. I am the warning, you will never heed in time. Every whisper of death, every breath of grave, every statement of disbelief. I leave you all in my way. Just before your demise, you're no believer, or have you forgot? I'm the secret that you won't need to hide. It's too late to ask for help from God. The wind is screaming your name. It sounds like fear. You get better. Shed a tear. I am a force of nature.
All right, that's about all I can play of that. I Am the Hurricane. Jesse, what'd you think of that one?
I have a question for you. I mean, can you believe Dee Snider sounds like this today? I mean, fucking A, dude. This guy's vocals is insane.
Yeah, he's got some pipes on him, as I've said before. He's fucking impressive, man. You know, and it's like it's a good song. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's one of those where it's just like, yeah, okay, cool, next. But I that's one where, like, you know, Dee Snider for you know, who's known for wearing pink leather and, you know, dressing up like a tarted up tramp. Dude, he sounds like a man's man singing that. It's like, I am the Hurricane. Like, I don't doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the note that I had here. Was like, I think this is probably one of the songs for me that spotlights his vocals. He has some range on this album, but this one right here, I think, featured a lot of range for me. And the content of it, the content of the song lyrically, it's brutal. It's kind of, I don't want to say brutal, but I mean it's in your face. It's something that makes you feel, you know, it's a pretty aggressive song. So I really, again, it hasn't let off the gas. It's another great song. Go ahead.
I want to see Dee Snider fight Finn Jones from Iron Fist, and like I am the immortal Iron Fist. Oh yeah, well I am the Hurricane. And
then here comes fucking Shane Helms out of nowhere. He says, "I am the Hurricane."
and then they do the beat it fucking knife fight.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Coop, I am the Hurricane. Go.
I am the law. I enjoyed I Am the Hurricane. It didn't exactly blow my pants off. for Blow Me Away, but I did like I said, when I listened to it on the Instagram. See, there you go. You fucking happy now? I did it.
Yay! You did a thing.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be here all week. Everybody, I got your hoop note. But yeah, I thought it was solid. I was surprised he did sound that good. But then again, the guy looks like $1 million too. So it's pretty. It's pretty impressive,
63 years old. 63. I mean, I think
like
my mom was born in 55, so it's hard for me to comprehend somebody doing this.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I know this from working at the jail. Being how old am I? 42 now. Like there are people who
one.
Huh?
I said carry the one. Subtract.
I'm 42 years young. Now, I've noticed that, age, this is extremely cliche, and I want to beat myself up for saying it, but really age is nothing but a number, because I've seen some old-looking 42-year-old people, like people come in that are my age, and they look like they're 100. And I have seen some people in their 30s that look like they're twice as old as I am. People, and I tell people I'm 42, and yeah, I've got some gray going on. I definitely don't look like I'm in my 20s, but people sometimes are shocked that I tell them I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
Given how
everybody tells me I look like I'm fucking 35. It's the damn beard.
Yeah.
It kills me.
But
kills me.
But by the same token, I've seen some 63-year-olds that definitely look they're 63, and then there's Dee Snider, who, being 63 ain't holding him down. He's out there singing like he's 20.
Yeah, and the lifestyle that he's lived, or I should say, the lifestyle that he chose to live as a rocker, as a metal icon, whatever you want to call it, that's not easy on the body. That's not something. It's definitely not easy on your voice. So for him to be able at 63 to continue to do what he's doing and sound like he does, again, that's amazing. Yeah,
I give him all the credit in the world, man. Go for yours and do you. All right, so this next one, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's probably my least favorite track on here. It's not a bad song. It's one of those that, personally for me, I'm just like, who cares? And when you hear it, you're like, oh, of course, the fucking commie doesn't like this one. But just give me a chance to explain, and I will. This one is a Ford truck commercial. This is American Made. That's enough of that. I feel like, I wish they had actually done a video for that, but they had dressed him in yellow and red, and he was walking to a ring, and he was just dropping legs on people. He's cupping his ear, he's flexing. Get a guy dressed up as the fucking Sheik in there, the whole 9 yards. That seemed like less of a song and more of a wrestling entrance.
Oh my goodness.
Let me say this. One of my favorite albums of all time isn't a metal album. It's actually like it was a live performance in New Orleans by Jello Biafra and a New Orleans jazz band. And they did a bunch of covers. And at one point, he does a bit about like the worst song in the history of music. And I think it was Judy in Disguise is what they finally came up with. But he gave a few examples of what others consider to be the worst song ever. And one of them was the I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. And I get it because that song makes me want to throw myself out a fucking window. And it's not that I'm ashamed to be an American or anything like that. Like, I'm proud of my country and all of that stuff.
Just cynical.
But it's just like I'm not that jingoistic, and I don't find jingoism to be in the least bit entertaining or enthralling. And I've been to a Sean Hannity concert, believe it or not.
Oh God!
Yeah, I've been to the one where
he has concerts.
Yes, Sean Hannity does concerts.
For
like
fuck's
it's
sake.
like the Charlie Daniels Band and whatever country artist does the I'm Proud to Be an American. They actually do like full sets of music, but like Sean Hannity will come out and introduce people. You know, like he'll sing on The Devil Went Down to Georgia with Charlie Daniels and all this shit. And it's like, and I get the appeal to people who are like, there are no other countries. It's only America. It's America and a bunch of dirtballs. That's it. That's all that's out there. I get that there's that mentality, and that is what I feel like that song was meant for.
No,
for those people.
come on.
But it does nothing for me. All right, Jesse.
There.
All right, Combs. Go. Sorry, Sean Hannity. Apparently, I'm Alan Combs in this. The dearly departed Alan Combs in this fucking duo. So.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, Alan Combs is dead. I think. Alexa, is Alan Combs dead?
Ordering Combs.
Alexa, Alan Combs from the Fox News Network, is he dead?
Yeah, fucking Google's listening to that. They're going to add you to the hit list for Alan Combs.
I'm pretty sure Alan Combs is dead.
What'd she say?
She doesn't know who the hell I'm talking about. Apparently nobody...
What did you do? What did you do to piss her off? She's ignoring you. Alexa, take my pants off.
That's a t-shirt. Alexa, turn out the lights.
So, listen to me right now. There is nothing in this song that is overly offensive to anybody here. This is a
Did
song...
I use the word offensive?
No, you did not. But listen, you are making it sound like this is somebody who's championing the fact that he's American. Well, yeah, maybe there's that, but there's such thing as American values, Mark Radlich.
All right, hang on 1 second. While you continue to paint me in the corner of somebody who hates this country, just like Sean,
love it or leave it, Mark Radlich. Love it or leave it.
Just like Sean Hannity. He actually did die. Oh, God, he died of lymphoma. He died February 23rd, 2017. Well, good night, everybody.
Moving on. Gosh.
Oh, so that was recent.
Yeah. And he died of the cancer that I had. So... anyway, so you were saying that I'm a shitty person?
So
go ahead.
I just want to let you know you're right and I love you. Let's go ahead and move on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen.
Yes.
Here we go. All right. So there's nothing in this song that really comes off as the typical American value. Just rubbing it in your face. We're American. Get on out of here.
You're out of your fucking mind. Then you weren't listening.
No, you, sir, are incorrect because the dude he's championing American values here. He is an American-made. I'll bring up the lyrics right now. Let's take a look.
Oh, whoa.
You can. He's not singing. I can tell you that the one thing he's not singing about, and that's safe spaces and spicy mayonnaise. That's one thing he's not singing about here.
Whoa. Who has a problem with fucking spicy mayonnaise?
All right, so have you got him yet, Mark? I want to hear.
No talk, just action now. Push forward, don't care how. Fight to the end, it's how I'm made, American made. Maybe I get
right.
I get what he's saying there, but one could also interpret that as, typical Americans, clumsy Americans just stampeding their way, this and that, into other people's countries. Patton Oswalt actually did a bit about this, which is like, America comes in, is like, what is this? This is a religious place, a place that's sacred. I want a water slide. that's there is that interpretation of American behavior that we're uncouth, and there it is right there in the song. No talk, just action now. Push forward, don't care how. Fight to the end, it's how I made. I want a water slide.
It's shit. He's tired. He's tired of people.
Tired of it.
He's tired of it. Well, that does not help my argument, Coop. Does not help my argument at all.
God, I always wondered before these shows if we're going to have anything to talk about. Now we're fighting over American. We're fighting over Dee Snider's American values.
I think, and this guy is trying to show that, as an American, he's an American, is he not? That is correct. He is. He's an American. He is born and raised to get shit done. And it even makes mention about how you could make fun of him. It says here, mock, scorn, and condescend. Hard work is never done. That's all I believe. So he's making a point to tell you his American values have got him through some of the toughest bullshit, and people continue to give him a hard time. He doesn't give a shit. He's an American. He's not going to sit there and he's not going to consider whether you like him being an American or not. He's not doing anything, as far as I could tell. There's nothing in this song that makes me believe he's doing anything that would potentially harm somebody or do anything. He is just saying he's a hard worker, and no matter what people think, he's going to get the job done. No more talk, just action now, Mark Radulich.
Yep.
He's going to get the job done.
That's how we ended up in 3 wars and won none of them.
Oh, what the fuck ever, man. American made. I don't see,
dropping bombs and don't care how. American made. Getting into wars and not winning one. American made.
He was part of a group that almost performed an airstrike on an unassuming man. And we're not going to take it. But that's right. Beside the point. Aggression aside, he's American made. All right, I'm done.
You're tapping out of this one.
Yes.
So can we get Ronnie Adams to lose his shit on me?
Please.
Oh God.
Call the conservative man. Let him loose.
Let's get Pat on here. Let's get Robert Winfrey. Let's get them all on here. And then everyone can yell at me for being the token liberal on the show.
Can I tell you, I cannot
You're
wait
the
to hear
token
Sunday's
liberal.
show, by the way.
Well, I'm sorry. I am in this case because here's the problem. Like I'm typically not like 100% any particular belief. I have some beliefs that skew liberal. I have some beliefs that skew conservative. And I'm more pragmatic in solutions. Like I'm good with whatever the solution is. I'm good with whatever the best solution is for a particular problem. I'm not necessarily motivated by one, by a check mark. By everything has to be this particular point of view, and there's no straying from it. Where some of those beliefs don't really solve the problem. So that puts me in the position of oftentimes, like this happens to me at work constantly because I happen to work around a bunch of like ridiculously far right people. Yeah, the
prison system.
Yeah, I know.
Never.
No, I know. I don't know why I thought that would be different. I'm not even talking about like the deputies because I know the deputies are all going to be like mostly hard right people. But I'm talking like the nurses that went into like a helping profession and they're just like kill all the prisoners. I'm like, all right, whatever.
They're probably just in there to try and cut the tax bill down,
But there's one particular woman that I work with. I would say she's more or less a friend of mine, but she has these like far right conservative beliefs that are so uneducated and so ridiculous that I end up sounding like, again, Alan Colmes. I sound like fucking Rachel Maddow by comparison, and it's like that's not really who I am. But when you say something completely utterly ridiculous, and you paint me into this corner of having to stick up for the liberal point of view, yeah, I come across sounding like I belong on an MSNBC talk show, when that's not who I am. It happens with my dad constantly. My dad, but the other way, where like my dad is so far to the left now that like he, when his. So I put something on Facebook and I almost deleted it. I think I might have actually. Like I put something on there, and my father's like, yeah, and people are commenting, and my father's reaction to it was because all Republicans are stupid, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I'm just thinking. I just like I said, we're talking a lot about the content of the song and our own interpretations of it. To me, it bristled me. Obviously, it didn't. You felt differently, but I mean. The song itself is just blah. It's all right.
I will offer you this one concession. I almost posted this song, tagging my my right-wing cousin, and said, "Hey man," because he's a big metal fan. He loves all the classic stuff, Megadeth as well. And I mean, and I'm like, dude, you need to check out Dee Snider's album. Check this song out. And I knew that this would speak to him.
Right.
All right.
Do me a favor. Go on Twitter. Send it to Sean Hannity.
Send it to Sean Hannity. He's fine. He doesn't need to hear anything from me.
Hey, Sean. In case you're looking for a not country version of the same song, Robert.
I was just going to say, do you guys know anything about Dee Snider's politics? I mean, legitimately, has he been outspoken or anything like that? I do not know.
I mean, I think he's weighed in on a subject here or there, but
you know for sure that back in the past he was part of that whole Tipper Gore stuff, but
right. But then he was being attacked personally.
Okay, I was going to say I feel like that's kind of
Tipper Gore's a total bitch. So,
but that's the thing. You know what gets lost in that conversation? Tipper Gore was the wife of a Democrat. And like the Democrats are right now like the people who are mostly associated with freedom of expression. These are the ones where it's like, oh look, a jar of piss with a crucifix in it. That's art. Those are the Democrats are the ones promoting that sort of thing. But back in the 80s, Tipper Gore was married to Al Gore, who was the Democrat senator from the great state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, and again, he was a Democrat. Moving on. Just I want to get your thoughts on the actual song itself, Cooper, before we move on from our ridiculous version of Hannity and Dead Combs.
There's no. My dad once said, "If you vote Democrat, you don't deserve to vote."
I do remember you have brought that up in the past.
Have I?
Yes.
That's the one that really stuck with me. I was like, "God damn, a little much." But anywho, I didn't really think this song was overly jingoistic. It was kind of eye rolling because all I could think of is that fucking Team America World Police.
Mm-hmm.
America, fuck
yeah.
yeah, coming around to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, America, fuck yeah.
Yes, but
lick my ass and suck on my balls.
Yes, but that was also like a parody of our. National policies of that time, which was we viewed ourselves as kind of the world police.
Well aware.
Okay, so I'm right.
I'm saying it.
I just want you to know, Mark Radler, this next song is dedicated to your opinion of this song.
Okay. We keep cutting. I keep asking for Coop's opinion, then cutting him off instantly. So go ahead, Coop. Finish up.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this track was. It was just kind of all right. Like, yeah, if you're like America, like I think you'll really like it. I don't think it was like to the point of where somebody that wasn't American couldn't listen to it.
I don't know.
Thank you.
To our fans of the show who listened to our Amorphous one and thought the show was mostly about passing gas, I want your opinion. I'd like your opinions on the matter.
Which happens to be like one of the more popular Metal Hammer of Doom episodes in the last couple months. Some fucking how.
Yeah, music 10%, farts 90%. Popularity.
Well, damn.
All right. Let's keep with the trend of 100% less fart jokes on this show, and let's move on. So this
gas.
Yeah, turn up the gas. There we go. Alrighty, our next song on the hit parade is Roll Over You.
It's not just a question for me. Now it's your time to walk away. I know that
that song like it was that song like it was made to accompany a WWE event. Like it should sponsor a pay-per-view. It really should. It's so good. First of all,
with corn nuts, corn to the core.
That's right. I resent the idea, Jesse, that all you had to say to me was I roll over you, as far as my opinion goes.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let me tell you, this song, okay, whoever they're talking about in here, Dee Snider has had enough of their shit. I mean, it's just like, the whole song, he's just tearing this dude apart. Like he's telling him he's nothing to him. And, at one point, we get, like, the throwback to the Twisted Sister gang vocals. We fucking despise you. I'm like, whoa, damn. And then at the very end of this song, it's just two words. Fuck you. I'm like, fuck, Dean. I mean, come on, D. All right.
Good stuff there. I think that needed a little bit more Fred Durst, though.
Oh, please. Turn your red hat to the back.
Robert Cooper, what did you think of "Roll Over You"?
It was a WWE pay-per-view theme song.
Braun Strowman.
That's right. Get these hands, I'll
He's
roll
not
over you.
finished with you.
Perfect. All right, let's keep the hit parade going here. Speaking of songs associated with the WWE, this one's called "I'm Ready."
I was thinking more SpongeBob.
Faced with mortality, questioning my sanity, images that bring me to my knees. The weight of the world on top, have I given all I've got? Just when I thought I'd seen it all. Death leaves a sorrow no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. Maybe we're just here for the pain, and I'm ready. Maybe we're just here for the pain, and I'm ready. Praise those who live their truth. Step forward where they break through. Forge a path with something real to prove. Death leaves a sorrow no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. Maybe we're just here for the pain, and I'm ready.
Alrighty. So, we didn't discuss the reason why there was no show last week. There was no show last week because I was at the Dave Matthews Band. Go ahead, ask me how the Dave Matthews Band was.
That was the Dave Matthews Band.
I came to the conclusion that the Dave Matthews Band would be awesome if they made one change. They just got rid of Dave Matthews.
They just go around calling themselves the band.
Well, I mean,
We already had one of those.
I was going to say it's probably taken.
When I'm in New Orleans and I got a hand grenade in one hand, right, and I've got my dollar bills for the strip club in the other, I will walk into any number of jazz clubs and hang and listen to authentic New Orleans jazz and really have a good time. Like, I like, the brass band sound. I like jazz. I could definitely hang out and listen to it in a bar setting, and that part of that part of their sound was really great. I'm like, I can't even complain. As much shit as I gave Dave Matthews and Dave Matthews fans, more on that in a second. They actually don't sound that bad. And I'm not into the jam band kind of a thing, but again, just kind of like hanging out and outside. It was an outdoor amphitheater venue, getting a cool breeze and listening to some really fun jazz. Not the worst time I've ever had. Then Dave Matthews opens up his trap, and out comes the sound of Hellfire. It's just awful. The man has the worst voice in the history of music, I think.
Oh, has it gotten worse, or is it just bad?
I just don't think he can carry a tune.
Oh,
I really hate.
But do you think he tried to do it in a tin bucket? 'Cause it took me a really long time to figure out why that worked, because I was like, who sings into a bucket? The acoustics on that are awful.
Okay.
That was legitimately my thought process.
What would you say if you were a monkey on a string?
It turns into fucking Popeye. All right.
Yeah. So, let me tell you about the crowd, though. I felt like I was at a convention for the lamest white people ever.
Oh boy!
I legit.
Yeah, what the fuck else do you expect?
I legit saw a girl with Down syndrome rocking out to the Dave Matthews Band. I'm like, you're the coolest person here.
Oh boy!
I am saying nothing. It really feels like something I should say something really fucked up during.
Look, all I can do is set the ball for you. If you choose not to spike it, that's on you.
Let that fucker go to the ground, please.
What? I mean, if that Down syndrome kid actually went to a decent concert, she probably would be. Instead, she went to fucking Dave Matthews Band,
I don't think
easy listening, fucking generic, basic white mom bullshit.
Yeah, and it really was.
God, since fucking milk toast and Nutella. Out of date Nutella.
I feel like
it have flavor, but no, it's just going to make you shit your pants in 3 hours. Because you're eating fucking out of date Nutella.
It was everyone got a complimentary slice of white bread. It was just it was just.
Here's your loaf.
Yeah, the music probably sounds like somebody pinched a loaf.
Like I said, the music was great. The singer's terrible, and the crowd couldn't be lamer. Like it's not even like white. It's like eggshell. It's just lame. It's just a lame, personalityless white crowd.
Was there a pit? I doubt it.
What would you say? Yeah.
Somebody doing a fucking windmill.
Open that pit up, bitch.
We met some friends there, who I hope you're not listening to this podcast. We met.
Fuck you and your musical taste, you boring ass preppy white fuck.
They're lovely people. Anyway, we met some friends there, and they had their friends that drove with them from further south of where we live, and my wife made it a point to say it's Mark's first Dave Matthews Band concert. Like, she was very excited to this. She was also fucking drinking, so she got exponentially louder. And as somebody turned to me, they were just like, "Oh, what do you think of the Dave Matthews Band?" And I'm like, "Well, the last concert we went to was Slayer." And and there was that kind of okay,
Oh, you're one of those Satanists, are you?
Everybody scoots their chairs just a little bit further away.
I believe the exact reaction of this one girl was, "Oh, you like it a little heavy, do you?" And I'm like, "Well, heavier than Dave Matthews, yes." So
yes, please.
So that's why.
In terms of heaviness, like, I would say that Dave Matthews Band is a near fatal case of anorexia nervosa.
Thank you for specifying.
It's that invisible object that fucking the lead singer of Lords of Black is trying to lift. You cannot see it. It's not there. That's how heavy it is. You can pretend it's heavy. How's that?
All right, let's move on here to our next track. This one is Running Mazes. Oh, that song is dope. That song is dope. Really, the whole album, like I can always judge for myself how much I like an album by how much I'm moving as I'm listening to it, just sitting in my chair doing this podcast. Like if I'm like dancing in my chair, like okay, this can't be that. I can't truly think the album is that bad, even American made. But Running Mazes, yeah, I was just like, oh, I want to get up and start picking up change to this. That's a fucking dope song.
Agreed. We didn't get much to talk about in the previous song, but that's okay because I think what we just had here were two of the more, again, positive spun songs on this album. I'm Ready really feels like it's a song about people who pick up after, keep their head up after some horrific shit. I got visions of like some of the stupid ass shootings that's occurred across the nation, and he's ready to face the pain in our life no matter what it is. Well, here Running Mazes is again, in my opinion, one of the top 3 off of this album, and it's another positive song. It's about looking death in the face and saying, not today, Satan. Not today, not today. That's right. And it's so much of an echo of Hatebreed that you could tell. It's almost like I almost feel bad. Like I don't want to give discredit Dee Snider in any way here, but we know that Jamey Jasta had a hand in producing this album and probably some of the lyric writing as well. And that is evident in the last 2 songs. So I love Running Mazes. It's a great, like I said, top 3 off of this album, in my opinion. I mean, I am moving in my chair, Mark. I'm sitting there. I'm banging my head. I have that. If it makes you feel something, if it makes you headbang, it's a damn good song.
Indeed. Coop, Running Mazes.
I agree with the maze running. I greatly enjoy.
Do you like The Maze Runner? It's a good series of films.
I've never seen those films, nor have I read the books, because last time I was a 14-year-old girl was never.
Oh, ouch.
Let me ask you a question, Coop. We had spent so much time at the top of the show discussing anything but the central topic that I didn't ask you if you... I mean... You being like half of my, mine and Jesse's age, some of the stuff that like we just go gaga about, you're like, yeah, it was a thing when I was 12 and it wasn't cool then and it's not cool now. So I'm curious, what were your thoughts on Twisted Sister?
I mean, I enjoyed Twisted Sister. Overall, they're kind of one of those bands like a Motorhead for me, for example. Bands that I always had a respect for and liked what I heard, but never listened to enough of to really gain a deep respect for them. Not like an Iron Maiden, a Black Sabbath, a Metallica, stuff that I've really dug into and found the deep cuts and really come to understand. I like what I've heard of, Twisted Sister, and I have a lot of respect for Dee Snider. He's a funny dude, great showman. He does a lot of good stuff. With a lot of hair metal, I've never been like super de-duper like impressed, just because it's not really not what I go for. Like I still maintain like my favorite hair metal bands are Motley Crue and Wasp because they were a little more dangerous. Twisted Sister had an interesting sort of sound to them and an interesting look, and they've got a lot of anthemic tunes to them, but yeah, I've never been like the biggest Twisted Sister fan. Not really because I dislike them. It's just because I've not gotten around to them, if that makes sense.
I would absolutely recommend, one, listen to all of Stay Hungry, because I think everyone tends to get focused on the 2 singles from there, 2 out of the 3 singles. We're not going to
because they're just one-hit wonders, I tell you.
Yeah. We're not going to take it. Everybody
knows.
They've
got like 2 good. Don't they have 2 big singles off that album?
They've got 3, but yes. We're not going to take it. Everyone knows that one. I Want to Rock. Most people know that one. But I mean, the Stay Hungry is the damn near perfect album. You've got songs like The Price on there. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. I feel like Under the Blades on that one. It might not be though. There's a bunch. on Stay Hungry. It's a really phenomenal album, but lesser known and not nearly appreciated enough for how good it is Come Out and Play. If you ever have an opportunity to, you're just sitting around on Spotify one day, and you're like, I need something to listen to, and you're like, you know what, let me give that Twisted Sister another chance. Go check out Come Out and Play. I believe it was the follow-up to Stay Hungry. I'm doing this a lot from memory, so if I'm fucking it up, I apologize. But I believe Come Out and Play was the follow-up to Stay Hungry. The title track, Come Out and Play, is really fun, and they do a gender reversal cover of the Leader of the Pack, the old 60s song. That's when I fell for the leader of the pack. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a cover of it. It's phenomenal.
Tremendous.
All right.
I mean, that is pretty damn cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I sometimes like gender reverse. I like gender reverse covers.
Yeah.
Not.
I might have played the gender reverse cover of Leader of the Pack by Twisted Sister on one of our cover shows, but Jesse hates me, and I'll never do one of those again.
Well, that's the second reference in 2 weeks that I've heard you bitch about the cover show that you lost fair and square.
I think somebody's butthole is hurt.
I just call it as I see it. I was cheated, and I'm never letting go of it. So.
Apparently.
God bless Melissa.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. All right, this is Mask.
With torn and bleeding smiles we move on, and mouth all different kinds of broken promises. Why should our days be spent in denial, while counting our faults and ripping our hearts out? Let them only see us while we wear the mask that hides. Never let them know us as the torch is all inside. Feel the hate beneath our feet before the longest mile. Say the words we can't forget, or choose to say otherwise. We wear the mask. The face you see is not our own. It hides our tears and shades our eyes. The heart you touched has since grown cold. We wear the mask that grins and lies.
All right. Jesse Starcher, Mask.
It took me a while to kind of try and figure out what this song was about, and breaking it down lyrically, I believe it's something to do with depression. And that's my guess. It's a very heavy song for for a song about depression. It's definitely in your face, aggressive, but it's still another good song. We haven't hit one where I'm just like, turn it off, or skip it. There's not a point in this album yet that I've reached that.
We haven't hit a nope yet.
No, there's nothing on here. And at this point in the album, when I'm listening to it the first time, I'm like, I'm really surprised, and I think that there's no way possible that we're going to finish this album out with like some sleepers showing up or something. But Mask it's another great one, I think, and it adds to the fun that's on this album.
I'll tell you, the mark of a good album for me is like when I've listened to it the whole way through, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this, and I'm moving on to something else. Like I'll go back and listen to it again. Like I had it on rotate, restart while we were driving around. Like a lot of times, for the purpose of the show, I'll listen to an album straight through, and then it's like, okay, back to Bruce Pritchard. Like the whole weekend, I just listened to this album. It's that
And
good.
Bruce Pritchard.
I did not get to Bruce Pritchard until I think yesterday. What'd you think of Mask, Cooper?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Like again, like this. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. This album, like I said, was a real surprise for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Coop, you mentioned, his hair metal stuff. You were not a big fan of hair metal. Are you getting any influence at all of hair metal throughout this album? You're going to say no, right?
Not a ton. I mean,
Okay.
really, this feels more like a modern metal. Like, if I were to go with any sort of influences, yeah, kind of some thrash and a little bit of the hardcore, yeah.
I was going to say this feels like an instructional. Like you should give this out to young bands. Like if you want to get on the radio, do this.
It's, I think, a testament to Jamey Jasta's production. I really do. I think that is
Because it's
That's why-
hashtag time to produce it.
time to produce it. Well, listen, the reason why we were trying to figure out the band members was because Dee Snider, yeah, okay, he's an icon, he's on this album, but there are so many times that the band shines in all these songs. And you're just like, who is this? Who is that? Wow, that sounds good. I mean, I don't think I don't think this is a revelation, but I mean, without the band sounding as good as they are, this album could have really fell to shit. Without the production, this album could have fell to shit, and it doesn't. It's continually impressing as we go through. So,
All right. Here's the other single from this. This is the one I was thinking about earlier. This is probably my favorite track on here. This is Become the Storm.
The rain is nothing to fear when you become the storm. Suffering is to speak the truth, and none are willing to hear. Working harder than before, with nothing to show but tears. With only tarnished hands to help, is the hurt that we must let go. Why they forgiven for their sins, and what they put us through. The rain is nothing to fear when you become the storm. We are not here to suffer, but what we get through makes us tougher. We are not here to suffer, but what we get through makes us tougher. Suffer all the innocent who say that they don't belong. Give them the strength that they deserve. Give them the ones who do no wrong. I know we were meant for more. Time to break down every single door that keeps us trapped and torn. I know we are more than this. No more time to reminisce. It's war. And it's right outside our doors. The rain is nothing to fear when you become the storm. We are not here to suffer, but what we get through makes us tougher. We are not here to suffer, but what we get through makes us tougher.
Wow, that's my jam. that is my fucking jam right there. I want that on my tombstone. We're not here to suffer. What we get through makes us tougher. And it's funny. I don't want to.
That'd be ironic, though.
I get it. But
Like, obviously not tough enough, big boy.
I remember going through chemo
Puberty.
last year, and there were days it was almost impossible for me to get out of bed, but I dragged myself to work, and I got through it, and thankfully, I could hide in my office and and just deal in those times where I didn't have the energy to do it. But I remember, like, when it was over and I had done my last bit of chemo and I was in recovery, and I had people that would pull me to the side. They were like, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I did my last thing of chemo. I got it all clear. I'm just recuperating now. I'm trying to build my body back up. Because I don't know if anyone listening is familiar with how chemotherapy works, but essentially you just destroy everything in your body, and your body has to rebuild from scratch. And, you're more susceptible to diseases and stuff like that. So, when you're working in a filthy jail, things can get kind of dicey. But people pulled me to the side and they were like, how you doing? I said, I'm doing okay now. I'm doing better. Every day it gets a little bit better. And they're like, we just want you to know we were really inspired by you. And I'm like, why? Fucking what? Me? 2 songs ago, I said the Down syndrome girl was the coolest girl at Dave Matthews. What the hell am I inspiring? They were like, not that. But people who've never really seen somebody who went through chemo the way you did and handled it the way you did. I mean, you were a fucking trooper. I've asked my wife about this because I've really, anytime people make a big deal about it, I know I talk about it on this show a lot, but this is the venue for me to talk, so I talk about it. But in my real life, I don't like talking about it. I really struggle. I kind of just want to forget it ever happened. And I get a lot of people who that's all they want to talk about with me. And again, people have said like you really inspired us. Like the way you walk tall, with God knows how you felt, and that you came to work every day. That's the thing that my wife said to me. Because when I complained to her about it, I hate when people say that I inspire them for how I handled chemo. She was like, yeah, but you got to understand, people who get cancer and then get chemo stop working. They don't go back. They don't go back to work. You never quit.
That's right.
You got up every day and you went to a dirty place filled with people with tuberculosis and Hep C, and you just
good old TB and Hep C.
And you just did it, and you didn't take time, and you didn't quit. You didn't take a day off. You just fucking, Robert Winfrey, the way that he phrased it is like you kicked cancer's ass so badly it won't affect your grandchildren. I hope that's true, but that's how I personally related to Become the Storm. When I hear we're not made to suffer, what we get through makes us tougher. As much as I'm uncomfortable with the idea that I could be inspiring people by doing what I felt I just had to do. Like if I didn't go to work, we couldn't live in this house. I'm the one that makes all the money, and I pay most of the bills. Not all. That's a lie. Most of the bills.
Sitting on Capitol Hill.
And if I hadn't gone to work, we would have had to live with Melissa's parents. So it was like, okay, well, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. So I went to work. And to me, I don't feel I never felt like that was a big deal. It was just life, and I had to do it. And as long as I could do it, I would. But everyone else treats it and I know that sounds crazy, but everyone else treats it well, it is a big deal. It's fucking huge, and most people can't do it. And you're like Superman for having done all that. So I know that's way sidetracking, but when I hear that's how that song spoke to me, and that's just one example. It's a big example, but it's one example of why I relate to that song so much. And I'm like, yeah, 100%, man, because I definitely came away from that experience, I guess, tougher than I was before, and I wasn't exactly a mamby-pamby before that.
Yeah. This is a very positive song, got a very positive message. You're going to hear me say that a couple more times, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many tracks there are on here, but at least over 50% of these are something that will make you hold your head up high and face the day no matter what is coming at you. And I understand.
I love you, America.
America.
American made.
Love you.
American male.
I would. That's a wrestling reference.
That's a deep cut.
Yes, sir.
Take a drink. Gay.
I understand why this is a single as well. I think this is a pretty accessible song. That is not in any way, shape, or form some kind of criticism of it, though, because it's good. And I'd say that if I was the guy that was making the choice as to what's going to hit the radio or the airwaves in some way, Become the Storm was probably one of them. So
I just wish it had been a better video.
No, please, jeez Louise.
That video was such garbage.
Compared to fucking We're Not Gonna Take It and fucking I Wanna Rock, yes. All we wanted was what's his nuts. What was his name? The guy that played the father? Shit.
Yeah, from Animal House.
Yes. All I wanted was him to just make a cameo. He could have been in the background, falling over. Boom. Video made. Just tripped on something randomly.
Yeah, I've had this song. This has been an earworm like all day. I was walking around today at work just singing it to myself. I mean, it's so good, and it's definitely one of those where this will get played a lot when I'm in a bad mood and I need something to kind of cheer me up. Mm-hmm. And like I said, this is just one of the best, man. You know, the other thing I was going to say about it is, if anything relates to Twisted Sister on here, it's this song. This is probably the song that most reminded me of the Twisted Sister sound.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the way I kind of thought it had more of your sort of hair ballad vibe, not in like a cheese way. Just in terms of overall sound on this album, I felt this one came the closest.
Yeah. Like you could like if you just played that isolated from the rest of the album and said it was Twisted Sister, I'd have believed you.
You'd be like, oh well, they got a little heavier, but all right, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Do we want anything else on this one? Anything else on the diatribe I just went on?
Press forward, sir.
All right.
This You're not a hero. You just put your pants on one leg at a time, right?
That goddamn right. Well said. This next song's about anal sex. It's called The Hardest Way. Just kidding.
Jeez. Get Lordy on the phone.
I mean, they'll hug you hardcore.
We've all got to learn something the hardest way. The answers are not always there. The stories are not always clear. Not all of us give. Not all of us take. Not all will truly live or be there when our sights regain. Step forward into the blinding light. If you dare look back, it's your last time. If you dare look back, it's your last time. It's your last time. We'll learn something the hard way. The hardest way. We'll learn something the hard way. The hardest way.
Oh my goodness. Jesse Starcher, who was that voice that just fuck it. Go ahead.
Take two. Robert Cooper. Let me do this. Robert Cooper, who was the man that decided to show up in The Hardest Way here along with Dee Snider?
Oh, I just kind of yelled at the middle of the song. Howard Jones.
What is he famous for?
The Devil You Know.
Sure.
Okay, whereas they're called now Light the Torch. Oh, I'm sorry, Killswitch Engage.
There we go.
I
That's
should
the
have
one
just
I
went with Blood.
recognize.
I should have went with Blood Has Been Shed. That was his band before the Killswitch.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, dude. Well, I'll just go ahead and throw my opinion out here. The foot is still firmly on the pedal, and the pedal, my friends, is to the metal. We are
Put
going
the pedal to the metal, but the metal was dry.
It's that kind of wordsmithing that's the reason he's the most sought after podcaster in America right now.
Oh yeah, check out my upcoming episode featuring Alexis Hannah, where I completely lose the English language.
Jesse Starcher
and
became
all grammar.
Jesse Starcher became Maroney from Johnny Dangerously. He murdered the English language and anyone that got in his way.
I don't know how many times Mark Radlich had to step in and say, "Let me take this one for you." Okay,
not for
thanks,
nothing,
Mark.
but I felt bad. Like, you would not only first of all, you were like way amped up, like overly amped up.
I don't know why either.
Then you were like tongue twisted, and then you're trying to say something to her, and you're clearly uncomfortable with it. I was like, oh my god, this is painful. It was like, were you? She's married. Are you trying to ask her out? What are you doing? Sit down.
I don't know. I felt very, very. I didn't feel right. It's funny because
Jesse Starcher is like normally a smooth operator. A pretty girl walks in. He's like, do you like comics?
She comes.
Oh, see, I'm usually like, do you like cats?
Anyway, so yes, ladies and gentlemen,
smooth.
The Hardest Way. I'm a fan. This is, dude. Hearing Howard Jones, I immediately sent something to the messenger. I was like, okay, hold on a second. That's obviously the lead singer of Killswitch Engage. Now, see, I go into this album completely blind, other than what Mark Radlich has said, and on the messengers,
which you now no longer pay any mind to. Apparently, my word don't mean
no.
shit.
I didn't believe one word you said. See, so I'm like, okay, I'm going in it completely.
I'm gonna start sending you shit and be like, this is awesome, and like just to fuck with you now.
Fucking overselling son of a bitch. So I was like, okay, here we go, going into it blind, and then Howard Jones shows up, and I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a second. Then I start to like hop onto the wiki to see what's going on here, because the next song we have another guest that appears, and I realize what this album was about. So this song, Howard Jones, it is probably one of the better ones off of here. I love hearing him show up in it. So, Coop, I'm going to pass it over to you, sir.
Oh yeah, it's just really cool to hear. Like, hey, Howard, woo! I mean, there's a lot of really good names in terms of people that are guesting on this album. Like Alissa White-Gluz is a great vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
I love Joel Grind. Toxic Holocaust is fan-fucking-tastic. Anybody who disagrees is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool that this is just like a big-ass fucking metal conglomerate, you know?
Yeah. Mark said that it's got to be like, it's almost like a, what'd you call it? Shit. I want to call it a power band. That's not the word. Is that the word? Power band?
Supergroup.
Supergroup. Thank you. And I was like, oh, no, that can't be it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was. I mean, that might be. They're letting Dee take all the credit for this, which is perfectly fine, because I think this is a tribute to this man who very well deserves it. He deserves having the opportunity to be in the spotlight and be the one credited to bring this forth, because a lot of it rests on his shoulders, I think. But still, yeah, Howard Jones, man, great little guest appearance. And, I mean, Coop, is he still Killswitch Engage, or has he left the band?
Oh, where have you been? We've reviewed Killswitch.
Give me a second. Hey, don't you criticize me, sir.
All right.
Yeah, no, they've got the original singer back.
That's right. Yes,
They've got Jesse
we covered
Lee.
that album.
Yeah, you silly goose.
Oh, listen, look at me. I'm about to hit you.
Yeah, but his band, it was called The Devil You Know, and apparently, like, their drummer, like, left the band, and they're like, all right, cool. And he's like, oh, by the way, I own part of the rights to the band, so pay me money.
Oh,
You can't use it. So they wrote him a check. He goes, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, just let me back in the band. And they're like, no. And then it just went on long enough until they're like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to change our name.
He's guested with somebody else here recently too. I saw him stuff. I was like, oh, wait a second. I know he was hanging out with Jamey, and one, I think if I remember correctly, on one of his songs, it was Jamey Jasta and Howard Jones. Shit, I can't remember what that song's called. Mark Radulich?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what the Jamey Jasta Howard Jones song was? He has no idea. Thanks, Mark. It's fucking Watchmen.
What was it?
Fucking V for Vendetta.
These nuts.
Chasing Demons came out 4 months ago with Jasta featuring Howard Jones.
All right. Cool.
Hatebreed. Well, no fucking shit.
Watchmen. All right, here we go. This is our next track of the evening. This is Dead Hearts, Love Thy Enemy.
You tried to destroy my truth while comforted by a lie. Before now, nothing was done. One too many times. I'm going to a place I hope you'll never find. Dead hearts can't be broken, but I'm sure you'll try. And again my love runs red. Touch inside, there's nothing left. We all hear what they say. Heavy has no weight, like words filled with hate. We all hear what they say. As hard as it can be, love thy enemy.
You try to deny your past while living in that time. Your true colors show themselves. I see what you imply. My hands are bound again, but is it you that's tied? Dead hearts can't be broken, but I'm sure you'll try. Sure you'll try. We all hear what they say. Heavy has no weight, like words filled with hate.
All right. You know, that's a very pretty metal song. I thought they did a good job with that duet there. I don't have a whole lot else to say to it. It's interesting to hear the singer of Arch Enemy sound like a girl.
I don't know
Do you
if
expect her to sound like SpongeBob?
Have you heard Arch Enemy?
Well, yeah, she could sing though.
Yeah,
That was the point that I was making. Normally, she sounds like a growling man. On that one, she sounded like a girl, and I was making note of it, and I appreciated it.
Hey, Coop.
Eh.
The title of the song, according to Spotify, is Dead Hearts, parentheses, Love Thy Enemy. See what they did there? Arch Enemy? Oh, somebody. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, just my little 2 cents here. It threw me back, and I saw this actually noted on one of the reviews as I was going through it here right before we got on here, but it threw me back to Ozzy and Lita Ford for a second.
Yeah, good callback.
That went through my head while I was listening to this, and you know, I had concerns for it as it does start out really slow. I was like, okay, here we go. Here's going to be the ballad of the album, or here's going to be the one slow song where, you know, Dee takes a little bit of a break, and I really think that it turns into something that's a lot heavier than you expect. So it's good. It's very pretty, just like you said, Mark, and so is the lead singer of Arch Enemy.
Hubba hubba.
I'm as I am.
Yeah.
Like, hello, do you like cats, ma'am?
She already has the anime hair. So, bro,
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much. Hello.
hello.
All right, are we ready to get to the last track here and get on to bed? This is our
I have
title.
work at 5 a.m.
This is our title track. This is For the Love of Metal.
Pickle Weasel.
I once was under the blame. I was once the last in line. I was a victim of changes. You can't stop rock and roll. It is my life. This is my painkiller. My obsession runs deep. For the love of all things now. United worldwide and fills me with pride. I do it for the love. I release my hate, set my soul ablaze. For the love of metal. For the love of metal. As long as I can remember, it's been there for me. I run through the hills and over the mountain for victory. I've been south of heaven. I don't wanna burn in hell. I stood strong throughout the years. Lived to tell I was born to raise hell. And I do it for the love. I release my hate, set my soul ablaze. We do it for the love. We release our hate when we take the stage. For the love of metal.
Oh, Dee Snider, you silly guy.
You call him silly?
I did, you silly fella.
Oh, now, come on. This is... Coop, would you agree that this is like Megadeth's Victory? Where he just starts throwing in... Now, granted, I think Dave was tossing in his own songs in that
Yeah,
song.
that was. Yeah.
Well, that was definitely
literally just-
there were definitely a lot of Twisted Sister mentions in there, but then there were like Painkiller and
No,
Run
Mark,
to the
you said it
Hills.
wrong. No, you said it wrong.
Oh, you're gonna get us in trouble on YouTube. Don't do it. Don't piss off the baby metal fans. Delete your account, faggot.
Here's the problem. I listened to this song, and thanks to you,
Oh Jesus.
the title of that song has now been ruined. Painkiller is no longer Painkiller, thanks to Mark Radulich.
I'm not the one that sang it with Judas Priest and sang it all Japanesey.
Painkiller.
Oh,
Yes.
no!
Oh, delete your account, faggot.
Mega faggot. Robo bitch.
Oh, my gosh. Well, let me just say that this is one hell of a closer for this album. I mean, when you end the album with a song that's the same title of the album, and it's a tribute to metal by incorporating other popular metal songs into your lyrics. I mean, my gosh. You are not going to get much of a better tribute/closer for a metal album. Tremendous. Coop.
Hell, fucking yeah. I mean, this was a ton of fun. It was heavy as... God, it was heavier than somebody on a dating site who is using a picture that is 10 years old.
It's
That's
as, it's as heavy as a real heavy thing.
Work with the contribution.
Oh, gosh darn it. I am just one absolutely hilarious motherfucker.
All right. I'm gonna give this.
Like,
Oh, go ahead.
just like me, I give this song an 11 out of 10.
Terrific.
Nice.
Solid A for me. Hey, pull up your spreadsheet there, Jesse. What are my top 5 so far? What I got because I got to kick something out.
Oh man, see, here's the thing. You kind of like you'll rate some things one week and then some things you won't. So if you want to go down through and rate them as we go, I know that's going to take a while, but here, I'll tell you this much. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 A's, and you gave one an incomplete, but that's Bad Witch from 9 Inch Nails.
Was it that bad?
Oh, dude.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Was it not a good witch?
It was a sandwich.
It was the absolute worst.
I was gonna ask if it was a sandwich.
Oh jeez.
But did they use pumpernickel?
They used some bad cheese. Some like
More like they used dumpernickel. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
All
All right, so here you go. I'll hit you with the A's, and you have one A plus.
Okay.
Can you guess what that A plus is?
The sword.
No. Okay, so you've got Judas Priest Firepower has an A. The Sword Used Future has an A. Amorphous Queen of Time has an A. Fart joke. Ghost Prequel has an A plus. Lordy Sexorcism has an A. And Skindred, Big Tings, Mark Radlich, Big Tings.
The other day I was like, big tings. I was just walking around going, big tings. Like, for absolutely no fucking reason.
I was driving Winfrey nuts with that last week.
And you were like, big tings. You should make MVP references while you're at it. Big tings popping, little things stopping.
So Big Tings got an A as well. I assume that you're going to give Ramahoy an A. It's
Yes.
not on there.
Go ahead and Go ahead and put an A on there.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and make and definitely say this is in my top 5. So I'm going to give it an A plus.
Okay.
I don't think there's a bad song on here. I thought it was really great. I thought it was representational of modern metal, but in all the best ways. Even a song that I didn't really like still wasn't a bad song. It just made me roll my eyes.
Not a good representation of American ideals.
So overall, overall, I think everybody involved with this really hit a home run. And I think if if somebody who didn't really listen to metal was like, "Can you pitch me a metal album that's not gonna fucking offend me, offend my sensibilities?" I would definitely pitch them Dee Snider for the Love of Metal and say, "Here, listen to this, and let's go from there." So A plus.
Yeah, this needs to happen again. I mean, whatever process, whatever came together here for this album, it needs to happen again either next year or the year after that, because I really do believe that the conglomeration, all the input that they got, really just congealed to give us one hell of an album. And I will tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you were sleeping on Dee Snider's For the Love of Metal, you better wake up, because it has a lot of surprises in store for you, lyrically, musically. This album's just a complete triumph, in my opinion. When we look at the production, I'm going to throw Jamey Jasta's name out there one more time. Did you guys know that he produced this album? Let me tell you a little something. We have one song over 4 minutes, and we have 3 songs under 3 minutes. The rest of them hover right in between there. Trust me, folks, that's on purpose. Nothing gets samey, in my opinion, at all on this album, which is great. Nothing seems too overblown, which is great. It's competently put together. There's not a single song on here that makes me think about skipping to the next one. And ladies and gentlemen, Metal Hammer of Doom spreadsheet, Jesse Starcher's column puts Dee Snider, For the Love of Metal, at the number 1 spot.
Woo.
So there you, yeah. And I have an argument as to why it's bumping Ramahoy into number 2, but we can save that to the end of the year. So, Coop.
I still don't think it's going to beat Orphanland for me. I'm just saying, because I love Orphanland, and they're like my shit. But like this fucking album, like it's a good 4 stars at least. Like, it's interesting. I didn't think a new album by Dee Snider, of all people, like, no offense to the guy, but like not heard much from him in like the past forever. So I was like, I'm sure it's going to be all right, but it'll probably just be kind of gimmicky. Like, just like, hey, remember when I was in Twisted Sister? Good time. Nah, like, it fucking...
Mark, did
Like,
you expect this at all? Did you expect anything like this at all,
No,
Mark?
honestly, I thought I honestly thought it was going to be more of a hair metal type band. I thought we would spend most of the night making fun of it.
Yeah, I have this strange feeling that's exactly what you were going to say. When you put this on the schedule.
I threw it on here, and I was just, and I was like, oh, Dee Snider's putting out a new album. I'm sure that's going to be full of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a cheesy gordita.
Instead, it was full of big tings.
It was.
Big tings!
It was full of big tings. Big tings were happening on the Metal Hammer of Doom.
Sorry, Coop, I interrupted you. Go ahead, man.
You're good. You're good. I mean, I just expected us to get Chappelle's Show references the whole time. Remember that time he showed up on Chappelle's Show?
No.
Yeah, he showed up once. It was when Dave Chappelle was touring, was like going around New York. He ran into fucking Dee Snider, who turned around and was like, "Here's my asshole."
Terrific.
Nice.
It was fucking glorious. It was hilarious. But this is honestly an album that I really feel like came out of nowhere, and it just seems like it's an album that's really positive. It's just really good, well intentioned. It is just like a love fest for metal, It's just like, hey, you like metal? Here's something that represents like the really good parts of it. Listen to this bitch.
All right. So with that said, that is our coverage of Dee Snider's For the Love of Metal. Next week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we'll be reviewing the new Bleeding Through, and I believe the album is called Love Will Kill All, like it will. We've got some Metal Hammer of Doom extras ready for you, so check those.
We got some gags.
I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't know we were in that business.
Mark Radulich can't take the raw meat.
No,
Put it that way.
Oh.
Yeah, Bleeding Through for some raw meat on me, and I gagged. Anywho.
Why don't you fucking take that shit and cook it?
We're gonna follow that up with Celtic metal band, Celtic metal greats, Cruachan, 9 Years of Blood. We're gonna follow that up with one of Robert Cooper's favorite bands ever. He's been asking me all year, when are we gonna do it? It's finally here. I hope he'll be here for it. OTEP, Cult 45.
God, I cannot stand that band. I cannot stand that woman. No, I found out that she demands the other bands put their merch up when she goes on stage. They can't fucking sell their merch while she's on stage. And I'm like, fuck her with an anchor. I'd love to kick her right in the balls. I think she's a fucking wanker. She's a cunt. Fuck that band.
So we're going to cover OTEP, Cult 45, on August 22nd. And we close out the month of August, If I Would, Could You, Alice in Chains, Rainier Fog.
Ooh, I love Alice in Chains.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Well, the last album I listened to by them, I think was The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, which I think was their last one. It was fantastic.
Jesus don't like the queers.
Yeah, I love that song. I love that album. That album got some weird reviews, but I fucking loved it.
So, Jesse, you and I need to figure out when we're going to do some more recordings for the Metal Hammer of Doom extras, by the way.
Okay. We will do that.
FYI. We'll talk off air. All right. As far as other stuff going on in the wonderful world of Radulich and Broadcasting Network, this past week, Jesse Starcher tried to pick up a girl and it went poorly. That was...
Don't tell. I mean, shoot. I think the wife
put
will
that
be
on
like,
a shirt, Mindy.
What podcast were you on? What podcast was it? Huh? Was that
Actually,
Metal of Doom?
Was that Metal of Doom or was that the horse material?
Actually, no. That won't even air for another few weeks. So never mind. What you can hear this past Monday on the Source Material podcast was a shitty comic written by a band member of Anthrax, drawn in crayon, called Lobo: Highway to Hell.
Don't you give Winfrey a hard time about editorializing shit that he should just be putting facts out on? Mark Radulich.
That hurts my feelings.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Which member of Anthrax?
Scott Ian.
Yeah. And let me guess, it was absolute crap.
Oh, it was not.
I've heard Scott Ian's a dick.
I've heard that as well.
Never met him.
Some girl I was trying to bang years ago would tell me every time I brought up Anthrax that Scott Ian was mean to her. Anywho.
Like, they fucked Joey Belladonna so many times. Like, they fucked him over all day.
Yeah.
Poor Joey Belladonna. He's such a nice guy.
Speaking of Winfrey and editorializing, our Damn You Hollywood review of Mission Impossible Fallout is up. Hear us not remember any specific details of any Mission Impossible movie and confuse them all with each other.
God, that's how we're professionals, kids.
Like, I couldn't remember the names of the movies. I was just like, didn't he do the one Stunned where this happens? And like, listen to two old men try to review the Mission Impossible movies. And then this Thursday we have a special.
Goat Protocol.
Goat Protocol. So. This Thursday, we'll have a special TV party tonight for Glow Season 2. Top 5 season of television in the history of television, in my opinion. Take that. And this Sunday, believe it or not, we're actually going to do a Screaming Boys show. We're going to have Alexis Hana, Pat Mullen, and myself will be joining host Ronnie Adams. And we're going to talk about the day Laughter died. That is to say, we're going to talk about James Gunn and tweets from 10 years ago that were resolved and settled for people that somehow got him fired today. Well, not today, but recently.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, tune into that show.
This is why I don't do social media.
And then Monday, Sean Comer will be back. By the way, Sean Garmer will be on the Glow show as well, so I'll have the two Seans. I'll have a double dose of Sean.
Double dose.
And speaking of double doses of Sean's, Sean Comer and I will review the new Orange is the New Black Season 6. And then Damn You Hollywood will have Christopher Robin. And listen to two grown men cry over Winnie the Pooh. Some more fun we've got for you in the month of August. We've got an on trial for Dances with Wolves, our review of The Meg, our Damn You Hollywood Summer Wrap-Up show, the aforementioned Zatanna featuring Alexis Hana as part of the panel. That's Zatanna, the 16-issue Zatanna run by Paul Dini, where I asked the question, does every girl drawn in this comic have to have big tits? Why? Why is that a thing? Why, Jesse?
Because titties. Because titties.
Ladies and gentlemen, to hear how uncomfortable I get, you turn right into that show. Tune right in.
Why? Because you're just like...
I have to talk... What I don't... Talking about boobs with a girl on the podcast is very awkward.
Just try to
It's probably one of the most awkward things I've been involved in podcasting in quite a while.
I didn't have a single problem with it.
Like, yeah,
you clearly did not.
You want to know awkward? You want to know an awkward podcast? Try that time fucking Teasley insulted Jeremy Lambert first episode.
Yes.
And you could just hear like him shut down as he's making fun of his white boy rapping. Like, that was the most goddamn awkward thing I've ever heard.
Excuse me.
Like, you should just do what I do, Jesse. Be shameless.
So, and then we close out the month of August with a double dose of Legion. First, we'll look at X-Men Legacy Volume 1, Prodigal Son, and then we look at Legion Season 2. Jesse, you going to join me for that one?
Oh, for Legion Season 2, yes. I've got to watch it, but yes, I will be ready.
Yeah, I'm going to, after I get done with Orange is the New Black, I'm going to start watching that. All right, that's all my plugs. Robert Cooper, do your plugs for podcasts you don't do.
Ooh. There's this one. I'm on it. I was on a Voltron podcast.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a thing. I enjoyed it. Then there's that Super Sentai podcast I do that I don't do that I haven't done in like 4 years. I mean, hey, it's almost up for re-election, right? Then W2Mnet.com, a place I don't really write for that much like anymore in the past year. But you know, hey, Sean Garmer's a good guy. He's a great fella. Love him. So there you go.
All right, Jesse, do your thing. Take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go give the Rattlich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. You can check everything out on there, mostly all the links for everything. We do TV, well, just like Mark was saying, we do TV, we do comics, we do movies, we do every once in a while we'll do wrestling. So there's something there most likely for anybody. And we're on Spotify. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Spotify has somehow, we've tricked Spotify into accepting us. I don't know how we did it. Mark Radulich is the one behind that. But we're on there. We're on iTunes. We're on the old Spreaker.com. Obviously, that's where our home is at. So we're very excited to be bringing you all sorts of content. If you want to follow anything else that I'm doing, as mentioned before, the Source Material Podcast, that's my podcast here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. UnspokenDecade.com is it's a site about 90s comics, and I should be contributing to a podcast there sometime, hopefully here in August. And also, Kapow, the Pop Culture Podcast. I'll mention one word to be expecting me to be on a podcast involving titties. Face rip titties. Phase rip, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a role-playing game person, you may know exactly what that is.
Did you just say you're going to be in a podcast featuring face rape?
Not face rape, Mark Radulich.
I swear to God, I'm not even doing a bit. I heard face rape.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, did your wife just find you?
My wife is going off upstairs. Apparently, Caleb did something. And it is bad.
He probably cost you another $100.
So, with that being said...
Yeah, you might want to go save your son from being murdered.
I am getting out of here.
You're like, where's your father? And you're like, honey, I'm doing a podcast. She's like, again?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Are you doing more of that? Are you doing more of that Metal Doom podcast?
The Metal
Hamster?
Mark Radulich, get us the fuck out of here, please.
All right, folks. For the disapproving dad, and what he disapproves of is talking about titties, especially in front of women. For the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper.
Everybody should have problems talking about titties in front of women. But continue, please.
The man that just has problems talking to women, me.
I'm the man that makes everything awkward for everybody else. Well, I laugh. I'm your mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. This has been the Metal Hammer of Doom. Be well, be safe, and behave.
Cherry